What is going on, guys? This is All Gaming with my final review of Gatchaman Crowds episode 12. And man, what an episode this was. So now that Katze has given this crowd power to everyone, there are now more crowds popping up, and they are even fighting among themselves at this point. Or they are just causing havoc and chaos everywhere. So OD actually calls out Katze for a fight. And that right there, I definitely wasn't expecting. So, of course, knowing Katze, he is invisible to everyone. But luckily, he actually does talk to Hajime. And they are going back and forth. And she actually asked him a question that I found kind of strange about going out on a date. Because Katze thinks that she wants to kill him. And Hajime actually kept her word because she doesn't want to kill him. Like, Hajime has no ill will or negative feelings toward Katze, and that goes to show you like the kind of person Hajime is, and she is just so pure-hearted that she can love or care for the most evil, hateful person in this entire series. So OD finally showed us his Gatchaman form. And it just blew my mind. Like, to me, his Gatchaman form, it was pretty epic actually. And if there one thing that I didn't like too much, it was JJ that just stood there doing nothing at all. Because it's like at first it seemed that Katze had attacked him and he dodged it, but he lost his scissors. And to me, I was wondering how come JJ didn't get involved, knowing how strong Katze is. Because even though OD is probably the strongest Gatchaman, he can always use some backup. And so we actually see what happens when Katze actually goes into his, I guess, kind of a Gatchaman form. But when he uses his power, we actually see what it looks like. And to me, his design, it was pretty cool. But OD Gatchaman form, I loved it. And I loved their little fight between them. I did want to see more, but I understand that OD power is so great that it can destroy everything. So maybe that's why that's why they kind of made it seem so handicapped in that fight, because once Katze had hit his note, it seemed that OD was done for, to be honest. But at least he was able to get back Ryu notes, so there's no way Katze now has access to the crowds anymore, because Ryu finally got his back. And at first I thought that maybe Ryu was actually going to get a Gatchaman form, but instead he did the opposite and just made this crowd power accessible to everybody. So now everyone can use this power. It's no longer, only a selective few. But if you have this app, Galax, you basically have this power. So now, but actually, what? Before that, I just gotta say, OD, you sir were a great character, because I'm pretty sure it's obvious that he died because of his wounds. Because right when we saw him throwing back, Ryu note, we saw his back pretty messed up, and once we saw his arm and all that blood coming from his wounds, I just have a feeling that there's no way that he survived that. So now that now thanks to Ryu's brilliant thinking, everybody now has this crowd powers, and he actually made it into some kind of a game, because they were all mainly working together to take down this Neo 100. And after they did that, the Prime Minister, he was actually, gonna stop the game, but because people were having so much fun, working together and doing so much, positive things with this crowd ability, he actually kept the game going. And then we see Katze, who was first, so hurt that he lost his limbs. He actually got back up. He was almost healed, but you could see that he still had a few cuts and bruises. So now he would go around and see the chaos that he thought he would create. But instead, he actually saw that people were actually doing some pretty good things with the crowd power, and they were having fun. And we actually tried to mess that up by sabotaging everything. Everybody just ignored him. So then after that, a year has passed, And I just gotta say, I never thought that the prime minister would actually, have such a turnaround in personality, because he now trusts the crowds, and he now wants the people's opinion on everything, because there are reports about people doing bad things with the crowds, and some people want them to have a law, and he actually left it to the people if they want that or not. And to me, I find that really surprising. But what's more shocking than that, well, we actually see Hajime, and at first I thought something was wrong because they weren't showing her face, and I found that kind of weird. And then when we see it, she's actually all right. So I'm wondering like what's going on, and how come they're just showing her, like she's having a normal day. But then we actually hear a familiar voice, and it's Katze. And apparently Hajime, I don't know how, because they did not explain this at all. She has absorbed Katze into her body so that he can no longer cause trouble. And I'm trying to figure out how in the world could she do that, because to me, that right there makes no sense. They never showed it, and they never even hinted that she could have that power to do something like that. And yet she has somehow, taken him into her body like that. So now they're going on that date that she asked him about, and that right there is how the series ends. And I still gotta say, like, even though a year had passed, I would love to see if OD really died, or maybe there was like a possible chance that he lived. And how come we didn't see Utsu-tsu or Ryu? Like, how come we didn't see those characters? Like, I understand that Hajime is the main character, but they're a team. We should be seeing everybody, and not just, selective characters. But overall, this anime, it was good. But the final episode, it had its ups and downs for me. Just because I would love to see them fight cats, not, just take them into somebody's body like that. Like, that I still find kind of weird, and I just don't get it. But yeah, it was a good anime overall. I definitely enjoyed it, and I'm glad that I reviewed this for you guys. But for this being my final review of the series, all I ask is that you like the video, because that right there would just make my day. But as always, guys, you all take it easy, and I will see you all next time.